Welcome back. If there is something that will give President William Samoei Ruto a run for his money in the 2027 re-election bid, is him getting to convince the Gen Z bloc to vote for him. It will be hectic for President William Samoei Ruto to convince the youthful Kenya to vote for him. Because as it stands today, the Kenya youth have seriously rebelled against President William Samoei Ruto. Look at this video from Moi University. The one-term mantra is spreading like bushfire. I don't know how President William Samoei Ruto is going to tackle the youthful Kenya. You know what President William Samoei Ruto has missed? These youthful Kenya who are in the universities, President William Samoei Ruto has made the education very expensive with the so-called education bans. Instead of President William Samoei Ruto improving the previously help that was there, President William Samoei Ruto, in his own wisdom, has come up with funny bans, which I don't know the procedure under the structures they use to identify the bands in which they categorize students to get into. And these bands, I'm told, if you are maybe in a certain band, the government can pay a certain amount of money, and when you are in another band, the government has classified and in a position to pay different amounts of money to these education to university students. Now, President William Samoei Ruto is going to have a very hard ride to convince the youthful Kenya to vote for him. Because the university funding is what university students depend on. Hapo hivyo ndiye achukue help kidogo, alipe school fees kidogo, pesa yenye imebaki afurahie nayo. And now President William Samoei Ruto is making life difficult for the very university students to get access to these monies. Ndio maana wanafunzi wa Moi University wamesema it is one term, and they are not missing with words. And there is another one that came out, Kuzurura Bila break.
I'd like to start by saying legislators cannot oversight this government because they themselves are not a good example. In fact, they enable budgeted corruption in the finance bill so that they can benefit themselves. Tell me why, sir, you MPs have already passed 600 million to the KRA to change their system to be able to access our M-Pesa and our bank transactions already. You did that yesterday. In fact, on 2nd June, that is what they were doing in Parliament. Tell me why Kimani Ichung'wah stands in front of us and says that bills are passed that we have already refused through public participation, and they are passed and there is nothing we can do about it. Tell me why Kuzurura Bila break is going around giving out and dishing out money, yet the radiotherapy machine in Kenyatta National Hospital is not working. Tell me why Kindiki is going around dishing money in Mount Kenya, 50 million plus in a month, yet you are reducing expenditure in essential services like CBC, like school feeding program, like Kutoa Linda Mama. Tell me exactly why these people are in place. And if at all you had very good intentions, sir, you would be the first person to put an impeachment motion to take this government home. That is a challenge to you.
All right. Let's hear from you. Let's hear from the...
That is a new one. Now, the Kenyan youth faction believe that President William Samoei Ruto just moves around the country with no meaningful reason. And I think in one or another I can support what this lady is saying. Now, the Kumi Bila break initiative by President William Samoei Ruto, trying to imply that President William Samoei Ruto is working for Kenyans. Now, these Gen Zs have again redefined it. They are calling President William Samoei Ruto Kuzurura Bila break. That is a thing that President William Samoei Ruto is forgetting in the 48 laws of power. Use absence to increase respect. President William Samoei Ruto is all over. President William Samoei Ruto has become so common as a president that people don't see any value of him moving around the country. President William Samoei Ruto has traversed each and every village in this country. Nowadays, when people see President William Samoei Ruto, it's not a big deal. It has now become something very, very common. In one way or another, when you become so common to the people, that respect in one way or another goes down. That is what President William Samoei Ruto has failed to tackle. As his predecessors before, I didn't see President Uhuru Kenyatta moving around each and every day to each and every village. President Uhuru Kenyatta empowered his ministers to do that job in their specific departments on his behalf. That is a thing that President William Samoei Ruto has refused to do. President William Samoei Ruto wants to tackle each and everything as an individual. It becomes very difficult for him to handle such. And that's why it makes him being presented to the people of Kenya as a liar, because he has much unto his head, whereby atakuja hapa leo aseme hii, kesho akikuja at the very, very same place atasahau, then tell the people another thing. It is very sad that President William Samoei Ruto has decided to take the burden of Kenya at an individual ground. It is high time that President William Ruto now starts to delegate some of these functions, because that is the main reason why he has the cabinet secretaries. To add on it, President William Samoei Ruto has a big team of advisors who are believed to be his kitchen cabinet. I don't see now the need whereby President William Samoei Ruto is overloading himself with Kenya people needs unto himself. He should start delegating some of these roles to his cabinet secretaries to reduce such things like this lady is saying, Kuzurura Bila break. Because Kenyans, especially the Kenyan youth faction, are not seeing anything meaningful from President William Samoei Ruto constant and consistent countrywide tours. Not only countrywide, but also international tours. The Kenyan youthful faction are not seeing value for your nationwide and international tours. I think it is high time President William Samoei Ruto gets back to the drawing board and understand the value of delegating some of these functions to his cabinet secretaries. I think we don't have much onto our news briefs. For these and many more, subscribe onto our YouTube channel at Lord Aboga TV. Remember to press the notification bell so that when you come up with this interesting political and governance content, YouTube will automatically notify you. Till next time, goodbye.